Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest has appeared in hundreds of movies and TV shows in the past 5 decades. And he's not stopping anytime soon. He just wrapped up a role on the final season of Ozark and another on the first season of the Yellowstone prequel, 1923. Here to share some stories from his time in Hollywood, we welcome to AM Northwest actor Bruce Davison. Bruce, good to see you.
How are you?
Good. What do you think it is about Yellowstone and 1923 that people are attracted to it so much? Is it the relationships?
It's the writing and the character development. I think the writers on both shows have a great sense of character, so that there's a journey that people are freaked out by because you never know where it's going to go. And they're sort of written like novels.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, anything can happen. So, but the dialogue I found in both is always impactful.
What do you love about your character, Lord Arthur?
Oh, Arthur on, you mean 1923?
Yeah.
Well, he's British, first of all. He's a lord, and he has a very, I would say, earnest son. And things don't start really getting out of hand until episodes 7 and 8, and I can't really talk about what happened.
You can't tell us any secrets.
It does have some impact on the journey of the stories.
Tell me about working with your cast, because you've got some incredible actors here. Helen Mirren, Harrison Ford. Tell me about working with them.
Well, I'm in Africa and in Malta and other places, so they're shooting up in Montana. There's a couple of storylines, and they all intersect. And at the time, right now, I'm on another continent. So
you don't get to interact with them then?
No, I don't. Only at I've never met Harrison Ford actually, but I have met Helen Mirren and at gatherings, and I think they're just a wonderful couple to be the center of this.
Of the prequel. So yeah. I read that when you first started college that you started out to be a painter. Yeah,
I did. I started as a painter and gave it up as soon as I found acting. And years later, I was working with Henry Fonda, who was a great painter.
Yeah.
And I said, he said, well, that's good stuff. Why'd you stop? And I said, well, I knew I could play Rembrandt, but I could never paint like Rembrandt. And he said, well, that's your problem as an actor, because it's not about the result. It's about the journey.
Right.
It's about enjoying the work, doing the work itself. So during COVID, when things slowed down a bit, I started painting again, and it's been really wonderful.
You have a painting right there. Can you show it to our audience and tell me about it?
Oh, this?
Yes.
I guess, yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And that's an oil painting, right?
Right. Yeah, that's was my backyard where I started, and I actually. Stephen King has one that's similar to this. I've been trying to copy it again. I've never gotten it quite as well as the one that I gave to him, but that's what that sort of is.
No, it looks great. It looks great. So do you sit outside in your yard then and paint from there, or are you working from a picture?
That's it. Yeah, sometimes I work from a photograph, sometimes real life, not so often, but I'll catch an image on a TV or something. Or, yeah, this one I got. My son took a picture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said, you painted my cows. So I'm going to give that to him.
That's great. So so COVID did provide something for you, a way to get back into painting and relaxing.
Yeah, well, it's always make lemonade.
Right, right. So in 50 years, you've done a lot in 50 years on the screen, on the big screen, on the small screen. Let me ask you what you've seen in those 50 years. What has changed over that time that you've seen?
Oh, everything. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that dialed 3 channels on television. I go back, way back, but I came out in 1968 um, during the Manson years, I guess. And I remember talking to Jimmy Stewart one time, and he said, you know, there was a time when you could shake a man's hand, and that would be the deal. And then certainly that's changed. Everything has changed. CGI, computers, all of it is much different. I shot a movie called Willard about a.
Oh, wait, whoa. I want to talk to you about Willard because it brought back memories. I loved Willard. That's how old I am. I love Willard. And tell me, look at that!
There, yes.
So tell me about this.
Well, they were all real rats.
Yeah.
They didn't have computers back in those days, so everything, a lot of it was improv. And yeah, that's 30 takes to get them all to run into the briefcase or get them into the cake and all kinds of stuff. So it was quite a different series that exists that could exist now. Now you could have a rat talking to you and you'd believe it.
Right. But working with all those rats had to have been challenging. I mean, clearly you didn't have a problem with them.
Well, I had, when I had to audition, I had an audition there, and then the director said, well, you got to meet your co-star, and took me out to the valley and the garage, and there were 600 rats in there, and he put one the size of a bunny on my shoulder, and it started sniffing my ear, and I just sort of, okay, I'll go along with this. And he said, okay, you got the part.
So you're so easy. I was also wondering, too, what you think of the whole idea that with all these streaming services, you can really get a show like Yellowstone, like 1923, that looks like a movie on a small screen.
Yeah, well, they're bigger screens.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true. But I mean, just the idea that there's so much to choose from.
Absolutely. And I think the Ben Richardson in shooting 1923, he's got he's a cinematographer first and then a director, and he's got such a command of vista and vision. I remember the first movie that intrigued me as a little boy was King Solomon's Mines, and all of that just overwhelmed me. And it has the feeling of that now too, that you know, there's a vista out there that's just infinite.
You've worked with some incredible people. Who stands out as a person who really had a big influence on your career and maybe your life?
Oh, wow. Well, Burt Lancaster.
Wow.
Henry Fonda, Lucille Ball.
What did Lucille Ball say to you?
I didn't believe it. Do it again. All right, that's better. I knew you had it in you.
Okay, I understand that.
That was my first take. Too,
oh, wow. I understand you have a 16-year-old daughter, a teenage daughter. Is she getting into acting?
I'm afraid so. Yes, she's actually getting into musical theater. She likes best. She's working in 2 shows now at the same time, one downtown and one in the community theater here, and she can't be stopped. She's just like that train.
Are you giving her any advice?
She won't allow any advice from me right now. I'm hopefully sometime in the future that'll happen. I remember my son, who is older, I remember we were inseparable till he was 11. Then he closed the door and I didn't see him till he came out for college. And now we get to communicate a lot. So as you get older, you get less stupid in your kids' minds.
Yeah, I guess. The final season of Ozark, what was that like to work on that final season?
Oh, just an impeccable cast and writing. And the writers are wonderful on that. And working with Laura Linney, she directed some of the scenes, and she's just marvelous, both as a director and as an actor. And working with Jason, all of them, they were a well-oiled machine by the time I got there. I mean, this was the last season, and it was like just stepping into something that was already going at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we had to run to catch up.
You have been involved. Do you like being a supporting actor best than a lead actor? Because it seems to me you can have more fun with that.
Well, that that Robert Aldrich was a great influence on me, who directed the movie I did with Burt Lancaster called Those Honest Raid. And he said, "Kid, you'll be a leading man. You'll be washed up at 30. You'll do 6 pictures. Nobody ever hear from you again." And he said, "Be a character actor. You're a good actor. Do supporting roles. Play the villains and the victims, and you can raise a family in this town."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. I didn't plan it, but that's sort of the way my life evolved. And it's great. I'm still here, which is kind of amazing.
Thank you so much, Bruce. I really appreciate it. And I love your artwork. Great job.
Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. And we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.